December 6th to allow us the opportunity to take in all this information and make a final determination.
We have an amendment to the motion on direction by Councilwoman Gonzalez, a second by Councilmember Adams. Any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, I'm going Mayor Pro Tem, and I come back to you. You'll be last. You go ahead on, Mayor Pro Tem. It's your time.
No, I agree with 100% with what the city manager said, and I've been saying that as people have reached out to us, and I know that we're an easy target as we sit up here and say, hey, look, you did this, but we really did go by, if you spent more than one city council meeting here, you will understand that we all unanimously sat here and understood what our lawyer said and said that we're not supposed to pass this. So we didn't. It went back to the people. The people passed it. And my thing is this. I agree with also with what Councilwoman Gonzalez said as far as maybe we move it to December 6th. But the adjudication of laws is not, no one up here is an attorney except one person. And I know you play one on TV, but you're not. It's just an opinion. You may feel strongly about this opinion, but that's the guy I look to for expert opinion on policing. That's the guy I look to for expert on how to run a city. And that's who I look to for legal advice as far as the city is concerned. When we have a judge, when we have someone to adjudicate what our state laws say, there are actual people who do that. They're called judges. And they sit at the state Supreme Court and they say, they do the same thing as the federal government would say against our Constitution and whether or not it's legal or not. What we did right now was just canvass and just say, hey, look, this is what you voted on is an ordinance now. So I think we're doing our due diligence now to go back and make it a practical implementation of the said ordinance by December 6th. So thank you.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
I just have a question for the attorney. What does that mean if we wait until December the 6th? The people have voted. We're waiting. We're going into meetings to look at this proposition. In the meantime, I'm driving in my car and I have 10 ounces of marijuana and I get stopped, but I'm waiting for the council until December the 6th. Is that what you're saying? Is that what this means?
Like, until council repeals or revises the ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Killeen. So it would be in effect.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I hear that? No, it's okay.
They were talking to each other. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
And Chief, you already issued a statement with how that's going to be handled in the interim. Is that correct?
Yes, we're doing it right now. So
right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Just trying to be fair. Just kind of saw maybe this may be coming, so we're already doing it, so there's no change to our
understood. Yes, sir.
Can I get some clarification?
Yes, sir, from the city attorney. When Councilwoman Gonzalez finish, you can, ma'am. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chief. Just for clarity on the amendment that Councilman Segarra proposed makes perfect sense. Question regarding the 4 ounces of marijuana. What's the felony offense is over 4 ounces?
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so typically, if someone were carrying 4 ounces, is that a level of marijuana that the average person would use to smoke, or is this more than that that would fall?
The law, if you are in possession of more than 4 ounces of marijuana, then that raises to a higher level of misdemeanor and or felony, depending if we can make a case for distribution or not.
Sure. And so in this case, then, if you were to pull someone over who had marijuana, what happens then?
Sure. If under our current ordinance. So under our current ordinance, if we come in to contact with someone who is in possession of 4 ounces, let's say a typical traffic stop, like Ms. Cobb, Councilwoman Cobb laid out. She may be late to council. She gets pulled over for speeding in plain view. She has 10 ounces of marijuana. Well, let's say 3 ounces for the sake of this argument. And what we would do is confiscate that marijuana, and we will put it in evidence, and there will be no charges. So that's under our current, the way it sits right now.
And so just for clarity for myself, under this, as this ordinance is, and so if you confiscate that marijuana, you will file a report, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible that the county can still, in fact, pick that up and charge
Sure.
these?
There is the possibility that the county attorney and their investigators may come to the police station and find those persons who are in possession, and that you could be held accountable for that.
So despite what we have on the books. Okay, and so then I just wanted to get clarity, because again, I'm not clear, just for my purposes. You said before that we are already not really enforcing the lower level offenses unless it leads to something else, right? So you guys are already using your discretion in that respect. This ordinance, if I'm understanding what the people are asking for, is to not be charged for low level marijuana offenses at the end of the day, ultimately. Mm-hmm. What is the difference in us saying that there's an internal policy versus going through all of this for an ordinance that is clearly in conflict with the law? Why wouldn't we just implement an internal policy?
And you're absolutely right. I will say this, that, when it comes to enforcement of marijuana offenses, our department does a great job already using their discretion. There are very few arrests or cases brought to court for people who have small amounts of marijuana. The cases that we bring to court most times have another charge attached to it, but mainly drugs. When you look at the crime in Killeen, drugs and weapons go together. And that's how, taking away that ability to search doesn't give me the ability to find a stolen property. We got people breaking into vape shops right now. I can't get that evidence because now I can't search. I can't get that illegal weapon off the street because now I'm prohibited from searching. But can we still use our discretion to enforce low-level cases of marijuana? We do that all the time. We do it now. If you're under 18, I heard us talk about children. This ordinance has nothing to do with children. We will still do what we do when it comes to children. We refer them to the juvenile justice system, or we just take them home. I mean, that's what we do. If we pull you over and you have a somewhat clean record, not on probation, not on parole, you're not a registered sex offender, and you have marijuana, we will use our discretion to dispose of the case. But not having the ability to search and seize is a big deal.
Thank you.
Councilmember Segarra.
Right, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chief, for saying that, because again, this is my big concern, and my big concern is crime, and I just want to keep re-emphasizing that, because I think that citizens of Killeen, that's what they want. They want our crime to be lowered, and by adding that section 22-83 to this, it ties our police officers' hand. And just like the chief said, out of the 1,800 marijuana incidents police found, 97 of them, from the report that I was given, were possessions of firearms by felons. 183 of them had outstanding arrest warrants, 269 of them unlawful carrying of weapons, and 621 of them had illegal drug types other than marijuana. And by adding this, all these people, close to 1,000 people, and this is just a small time frame there, would be put out on the street. And so with that said, I don't know if I can offer, because I'm okay extended, I'm okay with our Mayor Pro Tem and his amendment and all that, but I don't want to see our crime rate increase during that period. And I would offer a second amendment to remove section 22-83 from Proposition A.
Can we get a second to the second amendment to remove, what did you say, Councilmember Segarra?
Section 22-83.
Can I get a second to the second amendment?
I'll second that.
Councilmember Alvarez. All right. Councilmember, anything else, Councilmember Segarra?
No, thank you.
Ma'am, can he make that second motion to the first amendment, or do we have to vote on the first amendment?
You can amend an amendment.
Right.
And then you would need to vote on the amendment.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
amendment and then
And the
vote on the original
amendment,
motion.
yeah.
I don't think the buttons are working, but I did have a clarification
Yes,
if I
ma'am.
could. I know Councilmember Gonzalez asked, about made the distinction between an ordinance and a policy, and so I just wanted to clarify that I completely agree that chief, law enforcement has discretion and can prioritize certain things. But the statute that we were discussing actually says you may not adopt a policy under which the entity will fully enforce the ordinance, so fully enforce the statutes.
Thank you, ma'am, for that clarity. Councilmember, Cigar, are you finished?
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
All right.
I
Councilmember
just want
Adams.
to have another clarity. So officers can still pull over and drive whether there's a smell or not. You still pull over in your discretion of driving under influence, swerving or whatever else. But does the ordinance stop from whether you got 4 ounces or not, but because you had imbibed and it may have caused you to drive that way? Does this prevent that from still being there?
Sure, it's a great question, sir. I think that as we talk, of course we talk a lot about this, that, we still have to collect evidence of driving while impaired. So if someone's under arrest for driving while impaired, we still have the ability to search based on driving while impaired, not the possession of marijuana. So that those things don't go away. So, and we still, when your car is impounded, we have to do an inventory search. So we still have those things to do. I think our Killeen police departments the officers are very bright, young men and women, and we will enforce the law. And of course, if things are in obvious plain view, then we can't ignore when we see an illegal substance, and we will seize that now. And and then depending on where we're at with the ordinance, depending on what you vote on, that depends how that goes. If it's under 4 ounces, we'll seize, we'll do a report. If it's over 4 ounces, we'll arrest it and put it in court system accordingly. If discretion needs to be done for lesser amounts, first time offenders, there's a lot of things, again, on that scale of criminality, and it's hard to go through every possible scenario, but I trust the men and women of Killeen Police Department to do the right thing.
And that was the point of my question. It's not the be all end all.
No. Police work will still be done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Carr.
Sir, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
The spotlight is on this proposition. Folks are out there, they're looking, they're watching television, and they're listening to what we're saying in this room. And just as they're listening, those persons who can make the judgment, once you let a person go and you do these reports and they go back, do you think the tendency now will be greater for people to want to overlook those reports?
Ma'am,
And someone else go to, I know it's a hypothetical question, but I can just feel it in my bones.
Yeah, it will be hard to provide an answer to that. I just think we see the way we see where things are going. When you look at states, literally states like Colorado and Washington and New York City and Chicago, there's a trend. And I think that one of the things that we're doing in Killeen is that we are preparing for what may come next. So we are very good at what we do. We will continue to get those that violate the law, particularly those dangerous people that prey upon our citizens, whether they have marijuana a lot or not. We're still going to do our jobs, but it's kind of hard to read that crystal ball and find out. But we're just going to stay prepared, and that's the best thing. That's probably the best extra kid.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear, that you're going to do the best that you know how to do. And once we give it our best and follow the rules and follow the law, there is nothing that we can ask of any man, woman, or child, is that we do our best and follow the law.
Councilmember Alvarez.
I guess this is a question for our city attorney. Seconded the motion that Councilmember Cigar made to remove section 2283. I don't know if that makes more sense or if it's an option to. I know we want to bring this back maybe December 6th. If we do that and just could we do a moratorium on this ordinance until then? To where it's not in effect until we reconvene on December 6th and make a final decision, instead of just trying to piecemeal something together in a rush?
I believe you could do a moratorium on the ordinance. And just to clarify, on the removal of 2683, that would have to be done by ordinance, so we would be bringing that back to you on December 6th then as an ordinance for you to approve that revision, if that's what the council is wanting to do, because that removal would have to be done by ordinance. The moratorium on the ordinance, you could do that.
And if you're thinking about doing a Fourth Amendment, you better have Councilmember Sagara rescind his and you rescind yours and you put it in that Third Amendment. Because we're not moving on the Fourth Amendment. Do you want it to? I can talk that out, you and him. He's up there.
You only got two.
Well, we have three. We have the motion, we have the amendment, and then we have the Second Amendment. So that will be the Third Amendment. So all of them have to rescind to get to you. So Councilmember Alvarez, you and Sagara, do y'all want to change that?
Yeah, I tell you what,
Sir, I have the floor, please. They have to rescind theirs before we can get back to you. Give me one moment. Do you want to?
Are you okay with that, or thoughts, Councilmember Sagara?
What was the motion again?
To bring the ordinance back on December 6th, allow us time to, I guess, to further look into all the options and make an informed decision on this. But in the meantime, there would be a moratorium, so the ordinance would not be in effect until we come back and make a final decision.
On December 6th.
Would that require the special order to be pulled?
The ordinance wouldn't be in play until after we meet in December 6th. If this motion that amendment is made.
Yeah. And again, my thing is, I don't want to take a tool away from our police department that they use. And, you can't say you're for lowering crime and you take this away. And so as long as they're able to do what they've been doing as far as cracking down on all these other criminals out in our streets, then I'm okay with it.
One suggestion, maybe you just vote on your amendments and get down, and then back to the original motion, whether it passes or fails, then separately make another motion on a moratorium.
Is that what you want to? I don't want to tell you what to do, because in between what you said and we get to the motion may pass. So I don't want to be the one to try to tell a council member, you or Sagara, what to do. So it's up to you. You going to amend it, or we going the way we are? Okay.
Either way, it's coming back on the 6th, right? If we accept this amendment that I've made, whichever way it's coming back, right?
Okay, so we're going back to the Second Amendment, and we're going to, any more discussion before we vote on this motion of direction?
Yes.
Right, yes.
I don't understand what's going on now.
Yes.
Because
the Second Amendment is to remove 22-.
Let me finish talking. So what I'm saying is that if we're doing a moratorium, once it's in effect right now, right?
Effect now, I'm
So
sure you
what-
do something different.
So what we're doing is doing a motion of direction to ultimately do a moratorium to hold up the activation of what's already in effect.
No, sir, they didn't agree to it. It's the original one, remove 22-83. They didn't agree to it.
So they don't want to do the moratorium.
No, they didn't agree to it. Did he agree or not?
Councilmember Sagara agreed, but he did not change his amendment.
Yeah,
motion.
so it stayed the way it was.
No, I didn't. I wasn't clear on it. If a moratorium, from my understanding, the Prop A goes into effect, right?
Yes, sir.
If we do a moratorium and it does not go in effect from today on, then I'm okay with it, and that's where
Yes,
I don't
okay.
think I got clear on.
Okay, so you right, correct, sir, that if you change it, it will not go into effect today. It will be discussed on December 6th, and after December 6th, whatever the council agree upon, that's how the ordinance would be.
And just to put, you're talking about Prop A would not go into effect, even though we
Yes,
certified
sir.
the votes.
Yes, sir.
If that's the case, then I would withdraw my amendment and let Mr. Alvarez make his.
You rescind your, second? Okay, your
Yes.
time, sir. Mr. Alvarez?
I would move to amend the original motion to bring discussion for Proposition A back on December 6th, and in the meantime, provide a moratorium for the implementation of Proposition A.
And I would second that.
All right, that's the Second Amendment. No more discussion. All in favor, repeat what you said on the Second Amendment, the motion. That's your amendment. All in favor, repeat it, Mr. Alvarez, so they have a clear understanding.
I believe it was to add a moratorium until our next meeting, which is December 6th, on the item to the previous motion.
Thank you, sir. All in favor, yes. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to 1 on that Second Amendment. Now we're going to the First Amendment, which was made by sir. He had the original motion. You made, yeah. You want to rescind it?
For December 6th amendment.
Okay. You just want the date. You repeat your amendment, please.
So my amendment was to bring this back for review on December the 6th.
Okay. And it was second by Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Yes. All in favor, yes, to bring back on December 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 0. The original motion, Councilmember Wilkerson.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
the original motion was 3 months, but you've amended that motion.
So we can move forward. All
Well,
right.
you can vote just on the motion as amended, coming back December 6th with the moratorium
All right.
until that date.
All in favor, yes. 1, 2, 3. Will you repeat that, ma'am? Because we already voted on the date.
This is why I was asking the separation of the two, because there are two issues that we're talking about. One's a moratorium, and one's bringing it back to discuss for future agenda item. When you blend the two, I'm not gonna vote for a moratorium, but I do wanna talk about it on December 6th. That's why I was asking to split the two up, and have a vote on the motion to bring it back, and then have it, if you wanna talk about a moratorium after, you can have that vote too. But when you blend the two, you put a council member in a place where they're voting for two different things.
On December 6th, we will be having a discussion.
So voting right now to have a moratorium until December 6th, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay, well, that's been passed by the council, so we're going back to the original motion. And what was your recommendation, ma'am?
No, I'm just saying you had an original motion that then was amended to come back on December 6th rather than 3 months. You had a second amendment that in addition to coming back on December 6th, there would be a moratorium until that date on enforcement of the ordinance. And that passed, and you did vote against it, that's in the record. But the amendment passed, and so now the council will be voting on the amended motion with both of those amendments.
With both of them together. All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 0. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Now, they can sit there and talk about what these things going on in the yard, or how complex they are, but when it comes to, so I think there's some difference there. I it is what it is.
I'm serious. I'm not afraid. She knows nothing about girl.
Yes, sir. And then maybe getting started or stay in still your personal tell me how
Since 2000. I'm for a proposition to a certain extent, but a lot of things they got in it is not good for our children and for our citizens, period. My concerns about it is a catch-22. Proposition A, they allow you to have legal amounts of marijuana But if they stop you and they make a report of marijuana, the county can still arrest you. So you're really not getting anything. You know what I'm saying? The city can say, okay, well, we'll let you know. Then the county can come in and then charge you. So it's not even worth even doing it in the first place. They're running games. My kids are lifeguard states. They need to know that regardless of what proposition they said, that they still can be arrested. They still can be charged for the marijuana that they have. So explain that to them. I'm giving it to you straight. It's correct. That's exactly what's going to happen to a lot of families. They thinking that it's legal, but it ain't legal. Because they still can arrest you. The county can come in and arrest you. You know, so you're not gaining anything. They talk good game, but no. And I know you voted for it. You know, the way it was stated, you know, they should have never had let them even been able to bring that up on the ballot in the first place. Because me personally, I think it's a setup. I think that they're allowing you to tell you that you can have this amount of marijuana. But then on another note, on the other side, the county can come in and go like, oh no, you had 4 ounces. That's a felony. You arrested. You are an arrest. You know, you're defeating the purpose. You know what I'm saying? Darn if you do, darn if you don't. Sure. Once a kid, no matter the race, once a kid is arrested for marijuana, he might as well be arrested for cocaine. Basically, you're going through the system. You're gonna have a lot. You're gonna pay a lot of money for a lot of different things. Attorneys. You're gonna do a lot of different. You have to do a lot of different things within the system. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to do community service. You're gonna have to go through all these different programs. You're gonna have, by the time you finish, you're gonna pay thousands and thousands of dollars, and then in the end, you're gonna have difficulty trying to even get anything out of the city of Killeen, including work, or your livelihood will be ruined. Put it that way. So don't. I think that these people need to get their act together as far as putting stuff on ballots and stuff, thinking the people thinking one way and they're doing something totally different. They need to quit playing with the people. Our vote is precious. And more of you need to vote and make yourself clear when they put propositions on the ballot. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Oh, you're playing. I had no idea. No, I'm very, very concerned because now, as we speak, there's a lot of kids out here. They out here doing this thing with the